Hi, I'm Scott Wildenheim. I'm the operations manager for University Hospital's AirMed Critical Care Transportation Program, as well as the editor of all of our protocol products.
I'm John Hill. I'm a EMS medical director and board certified emergency medicine physician who works for University Hospitals.
I'm Caleb Ferroni. I work as a career firefighter, and I'm also the instructor for the UH Hospital's paramedic course.
My name is Wes Green. I'm a EMS supervisor at UH and also a fire captain, about 29 years experience.
That was almost by accident.
It was actually
Yeah,
by
and it
accident.
actually, of all people, started with you.
I know it's weird, isn't it?
Right, yeah.
So let's see. I was at my firehouse, and I got a sales call for a product on a scale and some easy protocols. Wasn't even necessarily the protocol end of things, and I remember talking with the guy, and I was like, I don't know that this will fit for us, but something else you mentioned would. But let me run it by some guys that I work
Right.
with.
John called me, and he was just like, are you interested in this? And I'm like, 100 other things going on. I really wasn't paying. He goes, do you want me to watch the video? And he goes, it looks cool based on the product description and the flyer and some of the tech that was out there. And I'm like, yeah, go ahead, do whatever. Let me know if there was anything there. It turns out there was
a lot there.
There was a lot there.
We didn't even know we had a problem.
Yeah.
The problem we actually had at the time was we couldn't, in a timely fashion, update our app to meet what our protocol actually was.
Big as UH is and how many protocol departments we have, how many times did I email one of you and said, hey, somebody or I found a problem, tiny typo or something, and it would be months.
It would be months before we did a revision to correct that. We did have another product solution that we were just talking about to kind of put that in app form, but that particular company took and essentially recanned all of our protocols. It wasn't our document. It was a hand revision of our document, which of course led to errors. Even if we changed it, we then had to make sure that somebody else changed it somewhere else. Was entirely cumbersome and wrought with error.
I knew we needed it, right? I knew once we saw OneDose and saw what it could do and really the big power of instant updates, our own protocol, our own pages, and really the kicker was medication dosing, right? The ability that I could put into medic's hands, like, this is going to help you do that med math. That med math's what we all hate to do. And I think that's the thing we were kind of always looking. We knew we needed it, but then OneDose threw it in our hands and said, hey, oh, by the way, you guys like this for the app, for showing protocol. We can also do med math and make medications administration much more safer than what it's been.
Going into OneDose, I didn't have a clue that it had that capability yet. And then when EMAC came out, it was like, oh, now that's cool. It's like, that's really cool. I can utilize that every day. And even through the trials that you had me on there for it, everywhere I went to do Con Ed or anything, I demoed that, and everybody had the same. I did the same thing with every one of them too. I gave them, and I said, here, use this. What am I supposed to do? I'm not going to tell you. I want to see if you can do this first. Nobody had an issue with it. Nobody. It was really cool. That UH doesn't just encompass basics, advanced, and paramedics. You also have critical care and flight nurses and other
EMR and tactical medicine and hazmat.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of products in OneDose.
Yeah.
I've told this before. If I've got a pediatric patient coming into the emergency department that's in extremis, I know how old the patient is. I literally fire up OneDose on my phone. I put in the patient's age just so I have a reference material for some things that I might need to quickly.
As a physician.
Even as a doc, right?
As a physician. Yeah.
I was teaching downtown for the pediatric residents. I was going over some of that stuff with them, and I opened my OneDose up, and they're like, "Why don't I? Can I get that?
Yes.
Can I get that?" It was very interesting. Like, wow,
Well, and I've had that same conversation with pharmacy too, because we're talking about rapid responses inside the hospital, and like, well, can we just use this and use it for even documenting medication administration?
2 reasons. Customizability.
Yeah.
We can use our product the way we want to use it, which is huge, right? And then secondarily is cost.
Yeah. The value when you're talking about how much this product costs in comparison to its competitors, hands and above, you're actually getting more for less.
Yeah.
With OneDose.
John couldn't break it.
I mean, that's the truth.
I tried. We started our journey with OneDose about a year ago and had great success in launching with what they called their professional line, and we had that, and it was just a fantastic rollout for us. So we were involved in the beta for EMAC here at University Hospitals. All of us at the table had the product to play with, and the confidence that when we identify a problem or with the app or some math error or whatever, it's a quick, simple phone call to them. Hey, this isn't working. Yeah, it's already fixed.
We realized immediately that we could fix on the fly.
Yeah.
And that certainly took a lot away. It's like, well, we can put it out there. We know we're gonna get reports of things wrong,
Yep.
not connecting.
But even going back to the fixes, that was that night we were doing a class, and they were fixed before the class was done.
Yeah.
Like,
It's amazing.
Yeah, I think we can probably tell stories all day long of all the quick fixes we've been able to do just because it allows us to do that. So
Yeah.
everywhere.
It's everywhere. It's not only our pre-hospital providers. It's like you said it, our critical care providers, our tactical medicine providers, our hazmat providers. Every protocol product that we had out there was consolidated in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it also gave us the advantage to put links in a standardized place to other applications, so people know where to go, and then subsequently can follow that link to use another application, but put it all in one.
This also fits into the paramedic class where
100%.
I routinely use this as a research tool for study. And hey, we're going to run drills today. We're going to do it on ketamine. Look through your ketamine OneDose, and we're fortunate enough that every one of our students has a student account until they've graduated, and so they all have the ability to use OneDose just like us, and it works so well.
Okay. Today we're using it for medication administrations, right?
Yeah.
So we're scanning medications, we're doing that electronic medication check that we're giving the right medication. Picked up the ondansetron bottle, and that is really what I'm giving to the patient. They didn't change the color top of it. I didn't accidentally pick up the wrong medication. I'm not giving Pitocin to somebody. I'm not giving the wrong med to the wrong patient. Before OneDose came out with EMAC, that was literally, what do you do when you've got your EMT or paramedic driving the ambulance? You're
by myself.
the only person in the back.
It
Now
is.
we have the ability to electronically scan, and we're going to be matching that. Not only is that the right medication, but it's the right dosage of medication, it's the right concentration of medication, and I'm going to be giving the right dose to the patient.
I just last week took that product to a fire department who runs only fire. They have ALS providers at the department, but I handed them my phone and I got the drug box and I said, use this and EMAC, and they had no issues using it through. I mean, that's so easy.
It's very intuitive.
The EMAC changes the dynamics greatly in that we go from a passive reference product to something to it being an active part of the patient encounter, right? Yeah. It's no longer just off here on the side to be decision support. It is now actively checking your decision making and validating your actions, right?
And our in-hospital partners already had this.
Correct. I was just going to say that.
We're expanding this out into the pre-hospital setting. One of the guys that we had used for beta testing was in our RN also. Yeah. And he was just like, oh, I do this
every day.
I do this every day in ER, no problem.
But who as a provider at 3 a.m. doesn't want that
by
reassurance
yourself?
When you're by yourself in the back of an ambulance with a critical patient, your partner's driving? Why wouldn't you want that reassurance?
And that documentation.
Scan it, and there it is.
So I think other ways we use OneDose is we talked about it like contacts. We all use contacts. We've got ability to contact med directors are in there. We have each of our facilities are tags. We know what capabilities they have. If phones go down, we have the radio channels in there, so that way they can quickly tune their radio to get contact the hospital or somebody else. Well, I mean, 2 years ago, before we even knew OneDose existed, we had a situation where our ambulance was transporting a heart attack patient, and we started off in the wrong direction. So now we know, I can just pull it up. Oh, Yep, I need to go to a STEMI center. Oh, that's the STEMI center. That's where we're going to
Yeah,
go to.
and they started in the wrong direction because the belief was it was a capable center, and it turned out it was not. Yeah, so that was.
And I think the biggest thing that we're kind of leaning on now is and we're starting to leverage, is notifications inside of OneDose. So for us, as a hospital system, we don't dictate what you use for your EPCR platform. We don't dictate what you use for your dispatch software. So OneDose has become the one platform that we use across our health system, across all those things. So it's de facto become our one place that we do notifications at.
It doesn't get to the agency level, then get lost. It's actually going direct to the provider, and that's absolutely huge.
Yeah, I'm not emailing the chief on a Friday night, and it doesn't get to the guys and gals until Monday morning, but the event happened on Saturday or Sunday, right?
All of us?
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
It offers something to every group we've deployed it to, hence the reason we deployed it to all those groups. So I don't know that it benefits any one more than another.
I think universally, OneDose is a solid product from every level of care we give.
Yeah.
I mean, all patients would benefit. I still think, like, the pediatric
Pediatrics.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
That's what I would
benefit
say.
probably the most. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pediatric and multi-complex patients. I think our epidoses, for an example, probably benefit from this because it breaks it down so easy. No more are we worried about doing pressors because this is so easy. Like,
I had an allergic reaction ped that way, and I used it, which are epi. That's easy. The Benadryl,
Yeah.
It's
different.
less easy, yeah.
you know, and it was right there. It is.
Yeah.
And I will also say, I did slide scale by age, and then later I asked Mom, I was like, hey, what's the weight? Almost exactly what the estimate was.
Awesome.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was very cool that it was definitely in range.
The low-hanging fruit here is instant access to all of the medication reference. I mean, if you search it by medication or if you search it by protocol, they're tied together, so you literally are just swiping left or right.
Yeah, let's say that it's 3 in the morning or you've got tunnel vision. You're on that medication list, and we have it listed obviously top to bottom, first through whatever next. Okay, I did my epinephrine first for, Benadryl.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I need to give Benadryl too.
Yeah.
So kind of a reminder there that this is my next step and what to give.
Yeah, we're taking a passive reference material and making it an active part of our patient experience and our medication management by introducing that scanning and forcing that double check.
On the true experience, I think you're going to get into where we love my vitals transfer into my EPCR. My EKG transfers automatically into my EPCR. Now, my medication administration will transfer right in.
And time stamped.
You know?
Yeah. I think the telling feedback that we've gotten are from users of other systems that cost far more money, and they're like, this is my preference, right? This is the tool I want, and I'm glad you're giving it to us. I also work, XYZ somewhere else, and it's the preferred tool.
Even within UH, we had that, right? We had a group of people inside of UH that we were talking about using another product, and they internally said, no, I want to use OneDose. I don't want to use that other product. Okay.
it's just so easy.
Yeah.
Price? No, I'm kidding.
Well, I mean, that was absolutely part of it, right?
Initially.
It is.
That is, I mean,
It's a business. I mean, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean, there is a financial component to everything we do, and it was going to, like, round numbers, but it's going to cost us double to do other solutions with half of the capability. I think the two that stand out for me is the ability to make real-time changes and the ability to customize. Right, we're not bracketed in. It's how we want to present the information.
But it needs to be easy to use with 5,000 people using it.
And unbreakable.
And fixable, because
Make it fair.
5,000 people, you're going to get complaints. I don't care what product it is.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Being able to fix those complaints is important.
And honestly, how many complaints do you get?
Sporadic.
The complaints
Periodic.
that I get during my con eds and lectures is little tiny things that are, usually, to be honest with you, 99% of the time, user problem. And once we work through it, it's not a problem.
I think that one of our biggest considerations when rolling out the premium product in EMAC is training for us. We've got a great training cycle for us, so because we're in our agencies every month doing training, but just giving that lead time to get training and get everyone trained.
We shut off the existing, said here's your new tool, and I think we had far more organic uptake than we had
Forced.
forced.
I think that the OneDose kind of sells itself, right? As soon as you put it into someone's hand and say, hey, this is what we're doing now because we think this is a good product, they're like, oh yeah, this works.
If you drilled into the old protocol PDF or the book, this has that in there. It looks exactly the same. You updated the color coding, exactly the same. It's so much easier to use because it's the same product. It looks the same product that I used before.
Yeah, I think probably at that 3 month mark is where I felt like it was starting to really settle in, and
But that's
everybody was talking about it, and I could walk into any space and be like, hey, show me your OneDose, and they have it available.
that's
Good interaction with our user base is probably how we got good adoption.
It was the understanding that we could instantaneously address any issues that we had once we deployed it. So I don't think there was much pressure on, certainly in my mind, about worrying about the rollout, because I knew we could correct and we could manage and we could change course if we needed to. In previous years, that PDF document that we had with the protocols, that was all manually hyperlinked by yours truly, and took about 60 hours. It was often faster year over year to do all of them over than it was to try to get them to line up with any structural changes in the protocol. And then in this last medical directors meeting, we went around the room, we decided as a group that we were making a change that affected 3 protocol pages. We agreed upon it, executed on it. I mean, total elapsed time from the time it was decided on, cumulative elapsed time, was 12 minutes, right? And then follow that up with the notification, which is the huge part, right? Hey, in this case, advanced EMTs, you're now permitted to do this within our protocol and your scope. Here's the explanation. Reach out to your medical director, and then every single person in our entire organizational hierarchy got a bing. They know that change is there, right?
One story was I got a call from one of our quarterbacks because phone systems went down at a hospital. The one that happened more recently is because of the weather, CAT scanners and MRIs went down at my hospital. So because the CAT scanner's down and MRI's down, I am now closed to strokes and traumas. Can't take them to me because I can't take care of them. Yeah. So within minutes, notification went out, hey, we are on diversion to strokes and traumas. On the flip side, which is probably the bigger problem we have with diversions in general, is when a hospital
turning it off.
Yeah. Yes. Because now, I'm briefing this morning, by the way, you can't take patients to this hospital. I'm just going to avoid it all day long. And now we're not getting patients, and we're overloading other local hospitals.
Unnecessarily.
We get the problem fixed in a few hours, notification goes out, hey, hospital's back now up at normal capacities, we are open to strokes and traumas, instantaneous notification goes out. So yeah, leveraging notifications from that standpoint to, again, instantaneously get into all those providers' faces, immediate information that we need to do is invaluable. I, as a medical director, let's say you're a medical director at one firehouse, you're at another, how do I talk directly to you as a medical director? I can't necessarily do that very easily. With OneDose, I can.
Or 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
Volunteer department.
Right.
Are you setting tones? I mean, this, you open it up. Oh, whoa.
Who doesn't have
this
a
happened at 2
smartphone?
a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pulled up an email from Wes, July of 2025, to send an email to Scott and I. Just wanted to pass along. I had a 9-month-old anaphylactic reaction yesterday in the firehouse. OneDose to the rescue. It worked great. Use the slider for the 9-month-old. Drug dose easily. App worked great. Just wanted to pass along good information.
Yeah. Like I said, the Epidose, cool. I know that. But the Benadryl was like,
So yeah, we're deploying EMAC and all the other premium features. Obviously, EMAC's the kind of the big thing. Like
It is.
it's honestly revolutionary. It's novel in the pre-hospital space. Now the big conversation is going to be nationally is medication safety.
Yeah.
And I think, of course, I think the medication safety is very important, and I'm happy that we can be one of the leaders in medication safety. And this is going to, it's gonna make things better.
Yeah, I mean, anecdotally, we've not talked about that many medication errors this year.
Correct. Also true.
We really haven't. In previous years, there was a section dedicated to every medical director's meeting about talking about medication errors.
But I think we pushed our system and environment as far as we could for safety.
We did.
We've done exactly what we could do, moving them in a drug box and a snap. But now, when it comes out of the box, we can't control that. Now we have a.
We didn't have control over the affectionately the last mile, right?
Correct.
We moved. We changed everything we could up to here to optimize, but it was all it's always we didn't. It was always incumbent upon the provider to make the last proper step, and now we're helping them even with that. That's a brilliant observation.
But if I run 8 calls a day that has to do with cardiac or albuterol administration, I'm going to get that down in my mind, right? If I run them 8 times a year, this is that ease of mind to say I'm just going to scan this and have somebody double check me.
I'll even go one step further as kind of a representing the middle-aged Gen X population, right? Who up until very recently would have much preferred to pick up the protocol book, right? I've even given up on that. I am embracing that technological leap, which for our current generation is not a leap; it's an expectation.
Correct.
Even though it's not how I've always done it, it's an easy evolutionary step in today's age.
Speaking, any firehouse you go to, if you introduce something new, the older population of that firehouse doesn't want change. A lot of firemen don't want change, and most any of us don't. This is one that I haven't really run into that with yet. This has been a change that I think is welcomed by almost anybody who uses it.
That's a fair observation.
If the guys doing the CEs are doing good, and I think we all are, usually if I'm talking about a CE, I'm having them follow along with their OneDose.
Right.
I'm like, okay, you guys all get to where I'm at, right? We're going to talk through this, and haven't had any issues.
Yeah.
It works, and it's easy.
And control. That's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, from the admin side of things, that's the biggest piece here is.
But to be honest with you, if somebody else asked me that wasn't familiar with it, I would hand them my phone and say, "Come back to me in 3 minutes."
Yeah.
Yep. And they would come back and say, "What is this? I want this." I'm telling you.
Yeah. The high level, it's cost effective. It has great access and control. It truly provides novel. It's a novel tool in the out of hospital space to provide notifications, protocol management, drugs, medication scanning is obviously the big talking point now. It does checklists. It does everything you need it to do, and it really is just one solution to handle that the care of patients safely.
I wonder if you can talk about the company, not necessarily the app itself. They've worked very well with us.
They worked fantastic with us.
To find solutions that we probably didn't even know we had a problem of, but they were able to help develop other, expanded things.
Well, they obviously had the vision to start down this path to begin with.
Right.
They did a fine job in presenting it to make us aware that, hey, this solves problems. To your point, we didn't even know we had, or we can optimize processes. As far as that team is, they're young, they're motivated, and they're not afraid to break shit.
Right.
And that has yielded a revolutionary product that's, to John's point, it's novel in this space and has better feature sets than comparable platforms.
And anytime we come with them with a problem, they often say, "Oh yeah, someone else is even. We've already talked about that as needing a solution," or "That's a really good idea. Someone else had mentioned something about that. We're going to start working on that." So that relationship has been great and they're not just listening to us; they're listening to other agencies that are guiding them, and where we don't have necessarily unique problems. And in fact, I mean. Yeah, if you would have asked me, do I want medication scanning? Absolutely. They already had it. They already had a process selected, and we just They wanted to rely on us because we have 5,000 users. We have a breadth.
The volume.
Yeah. To, hey, go put this out. We were part of the beta test out there. We weren't the only agency beta testing, but we were the biggest agency beta testing to really kind of kick the tires to make sure that this product would be ready to go. And to their credit, that turnaround from, hey, we're going to do this, to beta testing to deployment, less than a year. I mean, no other organization or company I've worked with has gone from, hey, we're going to implement this new feature to production in a shorter period of time.
Not in the IT space, not in
this space at all.
Not in the SaaS space for sure. Yeah.
So, to toot our own horn, contact tagging was our idea. Color coding was our idea.
Yep.
EMAC was not our idea, but we love it.
Yep.
When they rolled out EMS calculators, we were a part of that,
Yep.
and we selected a lot and gave them some ideas for what EMS calculators we would want. Notifications, there's hopefully going to be a bigger change coming to notifications as well, and actually incorporating how to actually streamline notifications across disparate agencies, so almost like a regional notification system.
Okay. Yeah.
And maybe some integration to state systems or other systems for automatic notifications of, like, hospitals going on diversion, and be able to get that directly to your OneDose. I mean, just to wrap up, OneDose scratches a definite itch for me as an IT geek, and because, I mean, for those that don't know, my prior history was in information technologies. I did web development. I was a full-stack web developer for about a decade before going into medicine. I still find technology very interesting. The marriage of medicine and technology is fun for me. That's where I really like to spread my wings. So I couldn't have been more impressed with what they've done, where they're going, and what their vision is for the OneDose product. It's just absolutely amazing. It has made my job much easier as a medical director. It's made communications better with my squads. It's increased and provided safer care for those patients out in the field. I feel more confident having that tool in your guys' hands to provide better care. So I couldn't say enough about OneDose, and I mean, I'm not paid by them. I have no interest. I have no financial interest in them, but they're someone that I go and talk a lot about because they're just doing a great job.
Yeah. And likewise, from the protocol development part of my brain, right? It's expedited our to market on all of our protocol products. I'm actually looking forward to shortening the deployment times on some of our other smaller products, right? The administrator part of my brain, right, knows that I'm putting a tool out there that's going to help my crews act safely in dire circumstances, right, to bring benefit to the patient and reduce their stress and their workload. Those are the kind of the big takeaways in my mind from what we're doing here.
As an average user, it's the ease of use.
Yeah.
Training aspect of it, I use it for my medic classes. I use it for the firehouse CEs all the time. It's just so easy. And it's a great reference tool when you're laying in bed and you want to look through your meds. Not all of us are that geek about it, but I am. It's great seeing all of the feedback that you guys, I mean, constantly something's updated and there's a notification about it. To be able to hand somebody something and say, hey, do this, and not even tell them how, and then they got it, like it's huge to me. So keep up the good work at OneDose. Name it UH OneDose, that's fine with me.